Right? So what is organizing? Organizing is the process of grouping the various activities to be done and assigning duties and responsibilities to people in groups of departments. What is organizing? Organizing means have an aim. We have an objective to be accomplished. So what? For that objective to be accomplished, we need to identify those steps. Once we have activity, then we need to assign the responsibilities who may carry out that duties and the so that organizing, right? So, like we have said in the example, for arts, our aim is to conduct an arts, right? Arts festival we need to conduct. So, for this, we need to, we know, we need a stage, we need offline programs, we need off-stage programs, we need on-stage programs, we need transportation facilities, we need green room facilities like that. We know there are certain requirements, there are certain activities to be completed so that we may successfully conduct an art. So we need to identify those activities, then we need to group those activities, right? So similar activities will come, okay, these things all will come under on-stage activities. These all things will come under stage decoration or stage department. Like this, we need to group the activities, and after that, what we do is we'll assign a person with the duties and responsibilities for that uh, department. Okay, for that group, we may call it as department, stage department, on stage department, off stage department, finance department, like that. Okay, so that is what organizing is. It involves determining what works are needed to accomplish the goal, assigning those works to individuals, and arranging those individuals in making decision making framework. Okay? So who will make a decision? Okay? So if I need to make a decision, whom should I consider? Whom should I ask for? Whose advice should I take? Whose permission should I take? Like that. Or if I can make my own decision, we need to know who can make certain decisions. Right? So that is organized. So once we do organizing, or the end result of this process is organization, arts committee, arts organization. Okay. So what are the nature of organizing? One is goal directed. Then we are differentiating. Okay. We are identifying the different activities. So we are differentiating the activities. Then we are grouping the activities. Okay. Once we have identified different activities, then what we'll do, we'll group them. Okay. All these things will come under stage, right? The lighting, the decorations, the music system, the music, everything will come under stage. The one who operates the music system, okay? We need to have, the students will have, they will have requirements, right? The karaoke department, like will all come under stage. And then we will be grouping the activity, right? Assigning or delegating activity. That is, who is responsible for what, for authority. We are giving some people authority, and we are delegating some of the authority. Then integrating it. So once all these things are differentiated, grouped into different things, right? In different departments. Now what should happen? All these departments come together, right? All these departments should just come, so that then only we have a, right. The stage committee should be able to complete the work by before the scheduled time. Okay. The programs, the on-site programs should go as per the schedule. This is the schedule committee will make. They should be able to follow that. So if something happens in between, a program may not be successful. We will have to. Usually, what happens is we will be forced to cut some events. We may have to change. So that's dynamic and constantly evolving. That is, according to a condition, what is our environment, we will have to change. These are the uh, nature of organizing. So what is organizing and what is its nature? Right? So try to learn with an example. Next was what is organization levels and span of management. So span of management means the number of employees reporting to a single manager. Or in other words, you can say how many employees are supervised by a single manager. How many persons can I manage? Can one manager manage? So that is span of management. The span of management will depend on first one is nature of the work, right? So when the work is routine work, we have a greater span of greater span, right? One person can control or supervise many people because it's routine work. But if it changes regularly, then we'll have to decrease our span. That is, decrease the number of persons under one person. Then clarity of plans and responsibilities. If everything is clear, if everything is definite, we know what is the rules, we know what is the regulation, what is the responsibility. Everything is clear and plus, then you can have a greater span of control. That is, one person can oversee, one person can supervise a large number of persons. Okay. And if it is not, that is, if it is not clear, then we will have to narrow our span of control. Then capacity of the person involved. What is the capacity? How good the manager he is, or how good the worker he is. Like that will depend. That will be the full factor for subordinates also. It's very good. They are good work, hardworking people. They are trustworthy people. Then one person can oversee all of them. Okay? And if the manager is good, he is capable also. Then he can also oversee many people like that. Then comes time. How much time can he allocate? Okay, like we said, our guide. If a guide is having 10 batches under him, then those 10 people will come for advice from him. Advice only. So he or she may not be able to allocate enough time for each. So when one group comes, he or she may be forced to this. Yeah, I'm receiving this group. Will come after later at this time. It will come. So he'll be forced to delay what you needed, right? So how much time is available with the manager, right? That will also come. Then think how far away are you guys? Okay. Far away are you? Maybe you may be in the same locality, but then if it is a national level or international level business, you'll have work subordinate from parts of the country. So they uh, control may not be effective if we have wide span of control, right? The worker may not do his work properly if there's no proper oversight. So based on that, we have two span of control, that is wide span and narrow span. So wide span is one in which we have one supervisor is supervising many people, or many people are supervised by one person. That is wide span of control. Right? In narrow span of structure, narrow span means we have lesser number of people are supervised by one single person. That is narrow span. So wide span is called operating span because lower level managers are concerned with what are the advantages? Less overhead cost. Okay, less overhead cost of supervision. We don't have one manager doing the job of one manager is overseeing 8% in wide span. In narrow, 2 persons are doing the same job. Right? So what happens? We need to double the amount, right? The rent, the insurance, the taxes, everything will be doubled. If facilities, we may need to provide him with a space to sit, a computer to work, internet connection, telephone. We'll have many charges. So that cost will be less. Where in wide span of control, yeah, it is suitable for repetitive work because everyone knows what is to be done, right? And feedback for workers will be more effective. Policies must be clear, policies must be there. Superiors are forced to delegate. He may be forced to trust with certain people. Okay, you do this work. And trusting you with this, you can do this work like that. Right? Subordinate selection must be carefully done. Large number of people are under one person, so he or she may be forced to delegate. Right? So that means the workers, the subordinate whom we select should be trustworthy, hardworking. And this will not overloading the supervisor because one person has to answer all these decisions, right? Make all the decisions, so okay, load out the process. and also it may that there's a danger of superior losing the control and require exceptional quality of managers. So to control to supervise many people, we need better control, we need better character also, the manager also. See, because 10 people means 10 employees means 10 different approaches, okay? 10 different personalities. Right? No one is similar. So he has to deal with 10% in 10 different ways. So we need a good manager also. In narrow span of control means we do not that manager does not have to supervise or control a large number of people. You only select few of control at a single time. Okay. Then what are the advantages? Close supervision. Only four or two people are there under him, so he can closely supervise what they are doing. Okay. Then there's a good quick communication between the manager and the subordinate. 8 people. He doesn't have to talk to 8 people. He can talk to two. He need to talk only to 2 or 4 people. So that means better faster communication. Then specialized work can be achieved. Then messages reach employees faster. And what are the disadvantages? Disadvantages means superior tends to get involved in subordinate work because he can oversee them very closely. Then what happens is he, he may he may get involved in he may get too involved in your work. Then as the levels of management increases, because narrow means levels will increase. Right? Any levels of management, therefore cost will be higher. Then distance between the lowest and top level is too much. Especially distance is there. Okay. In the first case, when president gives an order, president will give the order to supervisor, supervisor to worker. But here, president will give an order to the department head to give to supervisor, and then it will reach the employee. Right? So the distance is longer. Right? So in today's topic, what we are going to do is organization levels. Okay? Organization levels, what we are seeing. It's the spans of management directly at the organization level. So narrow spans of control will have tall organization, and wide span of control will have flat organization. Right? So as you can see here, wide span of control we have president, supervisor, and workers. Only 3 levels are there. Okay? But here, narrow span of control we have president, department head, supervisor, and then we have workers. No, as the span becomes narrower, the levels increases. Okay, as the span becomes narrower, the levels increases. Okay? So here, yeah, worker and supervisor is there. Supervisors above there is a department head, and above them is the president. So there is, as the span becomes narrower, the height, the structure will becomes taller. Okay. Here, so if the first there's two organizations, organization A, organization B. In the first organization, that's in the left side, see, we have 4 persons in one level, 3 persons in the second level, 2 persons in one level, and finally 1 person in the top. So that's the tall structure, right? So that's a tall structure, and that's a what is the level? What is the span? It is narrow span, right? 3 persons are overseeing 4 persons, 2 persons are overseeing these 3 persons, and 1 person is overseeing 2 persons. But in the right side, what is happening? 1 person is overseeing or supervising 6 persons. So that's a wider span. Okay? Flat. Wider span of management, or wider span, and it is the level. It is a flat structure. Okay? So we have narrow structure as in the first figure, and wide structure as in the second figure. Right? Yeah. So spans of management directly affect the number of organization levels. See, because why do we have different organization levels? Because there's a limit for how much person can be supervised by 1 person, right? one person maybe effectively can supervise 5%. Okay? In one industry. In other industry, he might be able to only supervise two persons. Right? In some other industry, he may be able to supervise 10%. Like that, it will change. Right? So organization level will depend upon the span of management. Right? So why do organization level exist? Organization level exists because there's a limit to the number of persons a manager can supervise. Okay, effectively supervise. Okay, so basically there are two types organization. That is, narrow span of control will have tall organization, and wide span of control will have flat organization. So the second figure, wide span of control. So that is, it is having flat organization. The first figure, it is narrow span of organization. That therefore it is tall. Let's look at it as a figure itself. Figuratively itself, we can understand. So what are the difference? So what is the difference between tall and flat structure? So tall structure is suitable for predictable environment. Okay, it's suitable. It's not that it can be predictable environment. Is flat structure, tall structure is suitable for predictable environment, and flat structure is suitable for dynamic environment. Right? Then as tall structure, we need more and more persons. Right? The as the number of persons increase, the cost will also increase. So increases administrative cost. Flat structure will reduce the administrative cost. Okay? Because of many levels, communication and decision making slow in tall structure. Right? The communication has to go from one person to another, one level to the other level. So it will become slow. But in the other case, flat structure, communication and decision making fast. Then it is difficult to pinpoint responsibility of various works. So because there are too many levels, there may be we cannot effectively pinpoint who is responsible. Okay? The person may say, okay, I had informed the other person, but he might say, no, I wasn't informed. Okay, or else I have informed the third person. Like that, we will be there is a difficulty in pinpointing responsibility. Who is responsible? Levels. Okay? But in wide or flat hierarchy, managers at each level have more authority. Okay? So he knows. Okay, I have to take the decision. Okay? The tall one, the problem is he can ask the superior above. There is a superior above, he may override him like that. So here he knows he's the one who has to take the responsibility. So it will increase his motivation to assume responsibility, right? So tall structure is suitable for predictable environment, flat structure is suitable for dynamic environment. It increases tall structure increases administrative cost, flat structure reduces administrative cost because levels are more. Communication decision making will be slow. As you can see, so many to make a decision, it has to go to many tables. Okay? But in wide or flat hierarchy, decision making will be quicker. Difficult to pinpoint responsibilities because who is responsible, you may not be able to easily pinpoint. Okay? It's difficult. It cannot be done, but it is difficult. But here, manager, everyone knows what their role is, so it is more easier. Okay, so the relationship is, so you need to draw the figure also. And what now? What are the organizational problems? Difficulties with the levels are expensive. Okay? When we are adding one person, it becomes more and more expensive. The levels complicate communication. Okay? Because there are too many people involved, so communication will be complicated. Then there is a chance of omission and misinterpretation. Okay? We used to, you may remember in the lower classes we used to play a game. Okay? The teacher or the one person will tell something to the first person in the classroom. So he will tell the second person will tell the same thing to third person, and finally it will reach the last person. When the last person speaks out, it might be entirely different to what the first person has said. That problem may occur because in the misinterpretation, the certain facts may be omitted. it's not that they are doing it knowingly. It may be unknowingly. It may happen. Right? So omissions and interpretation may occur as information passes down, complicate planning and control. So if there are too many levels, then it becomes planning and controlling becomes complicated. Right? So organization levels are expensive. The levels complicate communication. Then omission and misinterpretation may occur. And finally, omission and misinterpretation, how does it occur? Because the information is passed from one layer to other layer. Okay? So different persons are involved, so that may complicate it. Right? It complicates planning and control. Okay? Okay? Organization level thing. Organization level exists because there is a limit to how many persons can be supervised by one single person. So basically, there are two type of organization. This one, this narrow span will have tall organization, and wide span will have fat. So this figure also will be tall. Second one will be flat. Okay. Now, what is the organization structure? The organization structure means it's a systematic arrangement of people working for the organization and their relationship between their position. Okay. So in a tech arts first, we have different departments, right? We have the stage, we have the on stage, we have off stage, like that. We have different department. Now we need to know who is answerable to whom, right? So for instance, you can take the new project. In the project group, you have your project group, and you will have your guide. Okay. Above them, there will be a project coordinator. Staff one coordinates all the projects, right? Then there above them, there will be HOD. Like that, we'll have the layer. Above him, there's the principal, right? So like that, we have different persons. There's a systematic arrangement. So if you have a problem, okay, you'll inform your guide. Okay? Through guide, the message will go to the coordinator, right? One who is in charge of the project, and the project coordinator from project coordinator will go to the HOD, and from him to the principal. Like that, we have a structure, right? That is organization structure. It is the systematic arrangement of people working for the organization and their relationship between the position. So certain decisions can be made by guide itself regarding your project. The guide can make a decision, but certain decisions will have to be made by the project coordinator, right? Like you have a review on this date. Okay, you might not be able to complete the entire work as such, so you may need to ask for a change in date for your group. So with the validation, you will give a letter to the guide. The guide will forward the letter to the staff project coordinator. So he or she may, if it is okay, he or she may grant you. Sometimes they might have to go to the principal or the HOD, like that. Right? So that is organizational structure. The organizational structure defines the functions to be performed, objectives to be established, etc. So what function has to be done by whom? So your project guide has to guide the project work. The project coordinator has to make sure that everything goes as per schedule. That we know what role has to be performed by whom, right? To provide authority and responsibility to employees. So the guide can make decisions regarding your group. Okay? You need to do this work. You can do it. The project coordinator can decide the date. Everyone has to present their work on this particular date. Authorities are given to authorities and responsibilities are given to the employee. Right? Now, what are the significance of the organizational structure? Improve teamwork and productivity by providing a framework. Okay? So, because there's a good organizational structure, everyone there's a teamwork, right? Your guide will make sure that you perform or you present according to that day. Right? Because there's a project coordinator, dates will be announced well before, so you can plan accordingly. So there is a good teamwork and productivity will increase. We improve the teamwork and productivity will increase because there's a framework. Okay? Determines the location of decision making. So who decides regarding your project? Your guide may decide. Regarding the presentations, your project coordinator will decide. Like who decides? That is the location. Who determines the location of decision making. Then help the employee to know what his role is and how it relates to others. Right? So as a guide, I know this is the things I have to follow. I have to make sure that my students, my group, has completed this much work, this much time. Okay, or else what will happen? So it helps an employee know what his role is and how it relates to others. Right? It helps establish authority, avoid confusion and duplication. Right? Because we know one person. You might have in your class, you might have 10 batches, 10 different groups will be there. So for 10 different groups, there will be 5 different guides. If they have 5 different guides are there, 5 different guides will have 5 different opinions, 5 different things. So they may, if there's no project funded classes, the dates will be 5 different dates will be there. There are chances, but because there's a authority is there, because there's an authority, he will decide, okay, this is the date we are gonna do this. That will establish the authority and that will avoid confusion and duplication. Right? Then provides patterns for communication and coordination. So who can give you, who will answer to whom? Communication. Go to the move the will send you to the project coordinator. Project coordinator may send you to the sometimes have to go out of campus for. Right? So you have to follow this pattern. Right? Act as a tool for achieving the framework will help you get your objective. Okay? Now, what are the features? What should be the features of good organizational structure? And there should be unity of objectives. Okay? So, in the arts group, we had the stage, off stage, on stage, every department was there. But objective, what is the objective of the arts? What is the objective of the stage department? So, complete the stage work by this much time. Okay? The programs on 25th, we need to the stage by 24th. So that's objective of the stage department. Similarly, financial department will have their objective. Offstage will have their objective. Everyone will have their own objective. But what should be there? All these objectives together will be equal to what? Arts. Okay. When all these objectives are completed, what is the end result? Arts is conducted. A good or smooth art day is held. Right? There should be a unity of objectives. There should be clear line of authority and responsibility. If you have to ask, if somebody has to make a decision on a topic, then there should be a properly designated authority. Then division of and specialization. Okay? As we said, when a person who has good driving skills, he should be added to transportation facilities. Right? So when we divide labor and we give them certain tasks, what will happen? That increase their specialization. When you're doing projects, you are doing in one topic, you become more and more specialized. You become an expert in that particular topic. Okay. So when division of labor will lead to specialization, and we should be, whenever we are dividing the workforce, we should think about their capabilities. If a good who is having a good eye for the colors and arts and everything, it should be in charge for decoration purposes. Right? Decorating in charge, he should be made. Right? Who is having good financial thoughts, he should accounting, who is good in accounting, he should be made part of the finance department. Then span of control should be optimum. See, the word is optimum. It should not be more, it should not be less. It should be optimum. Whatever is required, it should be there. Okay? It should be optimum. It should be maximum, it should be minimum. So what the particular job, what is the requirement that should be done? Each subordinate must have only one supervisor whose order he has to obey. That's also very important. When there are two persons may say two things. One person may he had completed by 12. The other person may say he completed by 4. What will happen? You will get confused. Which one would you take? Okay, you will always go for right. You will have more time. So it should not be the case. It should be very clear that whose order you have to obey. Right? Then it should be simple and flexible. The organization should be structure should be simple and it should be flexible. It should not be complicated. Then what determines the organization? Well, first one is environment. Okay? What is our environment? Where do we work? Like if a company is having too much of competition, if the new technologies are coming daily, okay? In apps and all we know, okay? Online this thing online apps we know there are too many like ordering apps. Okay, when earlier we had two, so like Zomato, Swiggy. Now what is happening? Locally we have many apps are coming up. Locally, the students group they'll create a group. Right? My college we have in my college we have app for our college itself. Okay? We'll order in that app. They will contact the restaurant and they'll get us the food. Okay? Maybe in the campus itself we'll have a for campus only have the environment. Okay, it will depend organization structure. Then strategy. What are strategies? What are aims? That will also influence the organization structure. Then size. Size means what is the number of persons, the total number of employees in the organization. That will also have a plain structure. So if we have more and more number of people, we'll have to have more and more structure. See, in the shop near you, okay, it's also a place of business. There will be an owner, maybe one of his helper. Okay? The helper might be sometimes his family itself. Okay? Both of them will together they will do the job. So sometimes what will happen? He might have to go somewhere. So usually he'll close his shop at 8 o'clock because he needs to go somewhere. He closes the shop at 5 o'clock because it's shop. There's no problem. He need not answer anymore. He'll close the shop. So you might be going there at 8 o'clock. Okay, till 8 o'clock the shop will be there. I'll go by 7:30. The shop might be closed because the number of persons are 2. But as and when the number increases, we'll have to have more and more structure. Because if the employees are going of their own convictions, then it will adversely affect the company. So as the number grows, there should be more and more to the organization. Yeah, life cycle. So like us, a company will also have a birth. It will grow, then it will decline, and it will die. Okay? But it doesn't mean it will always follow the cycle: the birth, growth, decline, and then sometimes what will happen after the birth, it will start to grow, and before decline itself, it may change. The company may change the complete narrative. They will do something new. So after growth, it may go for again. It will go for birth. Okay, maybe for decline. Once it starts declining, the company will change some things, and it will again go for growth. It is not a fixed like birth, growth, decline. That a company will follow these 4 stuff, but in necessarily may not in the same order. Okay, decline. After decline, it may not be the death. If the company is changing the structure, if new employees are added, if we don't want employees, we are removing them, then it may go. That is age. As the company ages, we'll need more and more structure. Okay. പഴയ company ആണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ we cannot go it like that. So as the company grows, the company ages, we'll need more and more structure. Then technology, as we said earlier itself, technology will change. So as technology changes, we'll have more structure. Then organization culture. Culture means values, beliefs, and everything for employees. Okay. It's an unwritten thing. So the culture will also have an effect on the structure. Okay. What is the culture of the people? Culture of the employees over there. Okay. Then design means creation of a new organization structure or modification of the existing structure to enable organization to achieve its role. Okay. Sometimes we need to create new organizational structure, or we are designing. Basically, the term itself will tell you we are creating or we are modifying. It's a formal process to guide process integrity at each of resources of an organization continuous basis. What will it help in managers to do two things? That is, one is to divide the organization goal into smaller tasks. Okay, arts into smaller stage, off stage, on stage, foot, like that. Then how to coordinate these smaller tasks to effectively accomplish the organization goal. Okay. So arts has to be divided into smaller tasks, and all the smaller tasks has to be coordinated, so that finally we need to have arts. Right? So we'll stop today at this point. So let me know if you are in doubt, and we move on.